Hello everyone, my name is Moji. You're watching a Bitcoin bubble news channel. Bitcoin will likely reach 100,000 by the end of 2025. Bitcoin will almost never have a real major pullback as long as the stock market keeps setting new all-time highs. This is because, as long as risk is what people want to do, Bitcoin is one of the best places to do that, right? I will say that it hasn't reached a new all-time high since the last time we saw it. It could fall below $50,000 if current support breaks. Trader Peter Brandt says that it will fail, even though a lot of whales will buy it. If BTC breaks through the $60,000 support level, it could go as low as $48,000. Bitcoin recently hit $70,000, but it quickly dropped to $67,000 and has stayed there ever since. The number of whale entities owning at least 1,000 BTC is close to an all-time high. Recent whale purchases worth a total of $1.3 billion show that people are optimistic. Elon Musk, CEO of Tesla, warns that too much government regulation could slow down progress in the business. Anthony Pampliano, co-founder of Morgan Creek Digital, also says that the demand for Bitcoin ETFs is higher than it really is, with many of the new funds coming in being old investments rather than new investments from institutions. It's only fair that we had to pull back to about. Yes, you're right, it didn't get back to $50,000 like I thought it would. It got to about $56,500. I still think it's going that way. Still, it could set a new all-time high first. But I think Bitcoin will go down once we see the stock market getting weaker and having several sell days or weeks. As you can see, I've made a lot of notes on this chart. This trend line runs parallel to the last one. We were above the line. We're getting stronger. Price is likely to drop if it breaks back into this parallel line down here. This trend line is right around $50,000, so I still think it's going to go there, but it may take a little longer at this point. Once more, though, it's all up to the stock market and really the Federal Reserve, right? The markets will sell off if the Fed plays rough with them. The markets might not sell off soon if the Fed makes them happy. Even though the markets haven't been selling as much, Bitcoin has been. It seems that Bitcoin starts to sell whenever there is weakness in the stock market or any kind of rise in fear, which makes a lot of sense since it is still a risk product. The more important question is, when will we get that bigger fix? The stock market will most likely drop 10% at some point, but it might not happen for months. I think that's all the Bitcoin chart needs for it to easily reach $50,000. Do you think $50,000 will be the next all-time high? That is a hard question. We're really close. Really, we're only $6,000 away from an all-time high right now. I'll be honest with you, I don't know. I wish I could tell you either way. Simply put, I don't think Bitcoin will reach a new high after the stock market peaks. This is until there is a bigger run out in the stock market and the stock market starts to recover. By the end of 2025, I think Bitcoin will be worth $100,000. That means I have a medium to low hard fall. 2025, all right? I don't think it will happen this year then. I really don't. To go over $100,000, I believe there will be too many problems. However, I do believe that Bitcoin will become more and more of a safe investment around the middle to end of 2025. Because the US budget debt is getting bigger, people will naturally turn to things like gold and Bitcoin. I also believe that both of those assets will go up a lot over the next 12 to 24 months. I honestly believe that if you don't see, you can say that it's not going to happen now, but I don't think anyone can look at how our economy is doing, what the government is going through, and the problems people are having with their debts and inflation. There has to be a day of judgment at some point. The question is, when will that happen? Of course, Bull today had a pretty bad day since the dollar fell. It was not very strong. It barely made a gain. I really want to show you something really cool. Take a look at this gold chart that shows prices over a longer period of time. We start with the 1980 high and connect it to the 2011 high. Now look at where this trend line goes. For me, one of the coolest things about charts is that if you follow this line, you just reach this level, right? We've passed this level, but we're having trouble with gold here. I've zoomed in. You need to pay attention to that trend line. A strong trend line goes back more than 40 years to 1980. That being said, it tells me that gold is still likely to go down a little more for the time being. I think we'll get back to around $2,200, give or take a little. We might even close to $2,000, but I do think that we will take this area out on the next step up. I do have an upside goal though. $2,500 at the end of the year. When January began, that was my goal. I think that by the first half of 2025, gold will be worth about $2,800. $2,800 by the second quarter of 2025? Yes, that's right. Yes. Eh. How do we get there? Just building up speed. How do we get there? Which is too bad, more of the same. I believe the US. It doesn't matter to me who is president. As soon as a president moves into the White House, they probably only care about making sure everything looks great, which costs a lot of money. We haven't seen any of our leaders stand up and stop spending in general again. To me, it's that deficit, whose interest payments are now more than $1 trillion because of higher interest rates that will last longer. Those interest payments will only go up because we have to refinance our debt as it comes due. When the economy goes down, the Federal Reserve has to step in and basically build up their balance sheet, lower rates, and make money free again. All of this makes gold more valuable in terms of US dollars. I think you should add any worries about Taiwan, China, or any of these other things. That's just more gold to burn. Along with Bitcoin, I do believe that physical goods will be important.